Initiating Movieboys podcast. Still loading. Tempest and Ryan are on their way. Welcome. Please enjoy the show.
So, welcome back. This is the second episode of Movieboys, and I think that if anyone predicted that we would be talking about the classic Spooky Buddies and Netflix's own classic 365 Days, you would be right. I'm not sure that anyone has ever reviewed both of these movies together. I think we're setting some kind of record or some kind of first. What do you think?
I would say so. I don't even think most people would watch either of these in the same weekend.
I don't think so either. I think this may be a first, so that's kind of exciting. Maybe we can go down in the Guinness Book of World Records or something. I'm sure if we call them up and pay them enough money, they'll put us in the good book.
That is a sad record to hold.
All right, so we're gonna start off with Spooky Buddies. We're gonna keep it light at the beginning. So Spooky Buddies is the 11th film in the Air Bud universe, or the ABU. It comes after Air Bud, Air Bud Golden Retriever, Air Bud World Pup, Air Bud 7th Inning Fetch, Air Bud Spikes Back, Air Buddies, Snow Buddies, Air Buddies, Space Buddies, Santa Buddies, The Search for Santa Paws, and then Spooky Buddies. And then after Spooky Buddies, there's a couple more: Treasure Buddies, Santa Paws 2, and Super Buddies is the final film in the Air Bud universe. So that's just a little recap. There's a lot of lore here that I've not seen all of them, admittedly, but I'm sure that there's some buttheads out there that know a little bit better than I do, and I'm sorry if I make any mistakes. What were you gonna say?
Is that the official fan name? Buttheads?
No, I just made it up. I don't know. I'm there has to be someone that's made the same joke. I don't know.
I have a question for you before we get started. So, right off the bat, I think we both can acknowledge that these are not good movies, and we're reviewing them like ironically and looking at them at the lens of bad cinema, right?
For sure.
Why? What is your like origin story with this movie? Like, how did it come to be your bad movie?
I'm glad that you asked. I don't know why this movie specifically became a meme amongst me and my friends around, and this was a long time ago. I was thinking about it this morning because I'm glad that you asked, because I did kind of want to get into it. I think this movie came out in 2011.
Yeah, it did.
And I think I watched it around then. So this was 10 years ago. Which is crazy to me. And I've probably seen this. I've seen this so many times. It's not good. I've seen it like 5 or 6 times at least. That's a low estimate. And I'm okay. I'll get into how I feel about this watching it again so many years later. And I don't want to spoil it right at the beginning. But I guess my friend and I were just kind of on this bad movie kick. I think it started watching Troll 2 and watching The Room and a lot of the more classic bad movies, and we just kind of became desperate because we just really enjoyed. There's something that's really fun about just ironic enjoyment and being able to laugh at a bad movie. And I think a lot of the time, at least for me, bad movies, like laughing along with it with friends, is honestly way funnier than watching a good comedy. I don't know how you feel, but I think that movies like The Room and some of the other like legendary bad movies I think I have a lot more fun with them, to be completely honest.
I think so too. I've definitely watched The Room with friends, and I don't know, there's just something about collectively watching a train wreck with people which is just very enjoyable.
And there's just something really just corny and awkward about just bad and awkward kids movies that I just find really funny and weird and endearing. I think there was just something about the title. Like, I've honestly have watched some of the other Buddies movies, and I don't know. I feel like there are some elements that this one has that make it. I hate that I'm like analyzing this at all, but yeah, I think that there's just some elements that this has that make it a lot more entertaining than the other ones. And yeah, no, I just think it's the title just itself is just really funny. Just just saying spooky buddies, just I feel like it just makes me laugh. And it just became this running meme where my friend and I would just throw it on somebody, and just unexpectedly we would just say, "Hey, do you want to watch this movie?" And we would just put it on, and they would just be really angry at us for 90 minutes.
Oh.
And I'm not necessarily proud of that, but it was kind of funny. I don't know. There's really not a great reason behind it. I don't know why this movie specifically.
Were you sober all of these times?
Throughout high school, I was actually a really sober, straight edge kid.
Okay.
And I think until I was like 21 or 22, which is I think around the time that I started getting into bad movies, I started drinking a little bit more. So I feel like that might be connected with this. I suspect. I don't completely remember, and that's also likely connected to that.
Because I do think if you're watching this movie sober that many times, you're probably a serial killer.
And I'm just going to say that I was not sober, and I'm going to hope that I wasn't, because I agree. And I think even not sober, I think seeing this movie that many times is a little disturbing as an adult. Okay. So I'm going to like very briefly get into the plot. And I will say that the last couple descriptions I got were from just from IMDb, but the IMDb description just wasn't really that accurate, I feel like. So I put my own little description together. So in Spooky Buddies, there's this evil warlock named Warwick who needs to capture 5 puppies in order to open a portal to hell using the Halloween Hound, an evil hellhound, which is he's actually described as a hellhound on the Wikipedia page, which I found funny. These dogs are the titular buddies of the story that he's trying to capture. And one of their owners, the main kid, is this white suburban wannabe rapper, I think. And he decides to do a book report on the legend of the Halloween Hound and investigates it with his friends to try to save the day.
That is a summary.
So what was your first reaction to this?
So,
and I'm sorry also.
When I first put it on, I was like laughing because of the I don't even know how you would describe it. Just like it feels like they were very committed to the premise. So like the first intro where it's like the village people storming the house, and they're trying to like stop the seance, the spell or whatever. It was just very hokey and very it was almost kind of campy. And I was like, oh, this movie isn't gonna be too bad. Like I see why Ryan picked this. And then that like the beginning of the movie was like the highlight for me, and then it just went downhill after that.
So watching it again after all these years, I have to completely agree. I think that opening scene, I was laughing through most of that opening scene again, and it's wonderful, and I think everyone should watch that opening scene, and I think it's funny, and I think it's great. But yeah, it's almost like they put all of their budget and like effort into that opening scene, and then the rest of it is just them walking around like the suburbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing that makes this movie watchable now, going back to it, is the dumb warlock guy. Kind of.
He committed to this role.
He really did. And last episode we were talking about Thor and I was just thinking like, damn, this guy, this show's on Disney Plus now. This villain isn't dead. They could totally bring this guy into the MCU. He could be the new Thanos. Like, why not?
I love that he uses his magical staff as a surfboard. I think that was I don't know who pitched that choice, but that was the right choice to make.
The way that they are clearly just like blowing a fan at his hair, and like it's just so corny and funny.
You know what my favorite moment with Warwick, is it Warwick? Is that his name?
Warwick is his name, yes.
My favorite moment was when he shows up at that dude's house, the trick-or-treating, and the zombie, or not the zombie, the Frankenstein surfer guy.
Yeah.
And they give him it's like a Hershey's chocolate bar that's still wrapped, and he just starts eating it with the wrapper on, and he is so committed to just chewing at it with the paper still on, and he looks like a psycho.
There's little moments like that with this actor, and I feel like he commits so hard. It's like he was I like to believe it's my head canon that he was method acting this whole time too, like a psycho.
Oh yeah.
Like he was just full Jared Leto, sending rats and like I don't know why he used condoms, but I'm just gonna throw that in there to people on set. Like he's just a complete psycho. I have to.
I'm sorry, just picture getting a used condom from this guy. Oh god.
He has such community theater energy, but in the best way possible, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's that guy in the community theater troupe who just makes the entire thing like worth watching. It's like you really wish you weren't there and you're kind of suffering, but it's like, "Oh, this guy's bringing something to it, and I can kind of enjoy at least the scenes that he's in." And the best part is, so many of the scenes that he's acting in, he's just doing it alone. Like
he's playing to puppies.
Yeah, he's playing to puppies, most of which probably aren't even there. Like a lot of his shots are like medium or close up shots, so it's just probably him on set most of the time, and then the dogs are there later, which is even funnier to think about, that this guy is just in his Spirit Halloween warlock costume with his staff, just alone on set for most of this shoot, which makes it even funnier, honestly.
I need to admit something. I never really watched Air Bud as a kid. I was never into. I'm not a Butthead. Sorry to the.
Oh, that's gonna be.
I know
that's tough. That's a tough thing to admit on here.
I know. Sorry to the Buttheads listening. So I didn't have any sort of childhood memorabilia, like nostalgia kind of association with this franchise. And I remember thinking that I had watched it, but I hadn't. And I think, you know how like on old VHSs there'd just be previews before you got to the movie? I think I just kind of absorbed the movie through watching VHS previews. Another thing,
I think that's all you need. That basically sums it up.
Oh yeah, that's all you need. You just need a taste of. That's all you need. I remember though. Did you know that there's actually an Air Bud extended universe, and there's a production company. I'm not joking. It's called Air Bud Entertainment, and they made different spin-offs with different animals.
I did not know that.
Okay, so you want to know what I watched as a child? I watched MVP, which stands for Most Valuable Primate.
Oh my god, I totally know what that is. I have definitely seen that. I didn't know that was a spinoff.
Yeah, you go to the movie posters, and at the top it's like Air Bud Entertainment. And anyone who hasn't seen MVP, it's about a chimp that plays hockey. So and there's a couple sequels, like the chimp also does skateboarding and like skiing, I think, at some point.
I think I saw a snowboarding one.
Yeah, he did that
recently. Which I hate to admit, but recently.
Any movies that have animals in them, I'm really not a fan of making a live action animal a character and then CGIing their lips moving over it. It's just not interesting to me, and it's not something I really enjoy. Like, I didn't bother seeing the Lion King remake because I didn't want to deal with that.
I miss the Homeward Bound days where they just they didn't CGI their mouths, and it was just They you just heard the voice when you saw the animal, like you were hearing their thoughts. Like that, I much preferred that.
Oh yeah,
I mean, but the weird CGI mouth thing is just, God, it's so painful to watch. It's not pleasing to look at all. It's bizarre.
I don't even think it's a question of spending more money to make it look better. It's just that it just looks wrong. I don't know how else to say it. Like it's beyond the uncanny valley. It's like this wasn't in the Bible. Kind of.
It wasn't in the Bible, which ended up saving the day at the end of this, which I don't know how my brain it blocked it out. But at the very end, they get spoilers. I'm sorry if anyone hasn't seen this, but they get Warwick the Warlock to they switch his magic book with their own magic book, which turns out to be the Bible. And then one of the kids is like, actually, it's the Bible, and he's like, no, which was also great. That was another wonderful little moment. I didn't, for some reason, I didn't remember all the Christian references in this movie. These were definitely not there in the original Air Bud films, that's for sure.
Oh, do we want to talk about how this is basically just a ripoff of Hocus Pocus?
Yeah, it definitely is. I feel like that's a movie that I know it's a cult classic. I've only seen it like once, like a long time, or once or twice maybe, like a long time ago. So I'm not as well versed in it, but it felt like that, and then it definitely had some elements of other kids movies too. Like it had like the Home Alone twist of like the old man actually, it was scary at first, but turned out to be this nice Christian guy who
Yeah.
is misunderstood. But yeah, I definitely could see that there was some hocus pocus in there too.
The plot is like kind of fine for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, evil guy wants to like do something, bring someone. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like that out of the realm of like stuff that's been done before. It's just the weird,
very straightforward.
It's just the weird execution of everything. And another thing I noticed is that the kids and the puppies seem to have like different story paths they go on, and they don't really interact with each other that much. Like, why are the puppies just wandering around town all over by themselves?
Just this to anyone else on the outside, it just looks like this pack of wild golden retrievers with little costumes on, just walking around. And I don't know. That is bizarre. Like, you would think, and I straight up just think it's just a budget thing. I think it probably takes more training. A lot of the shots of the dogs are just like close up solo shots of them.
The puppies are probably not that, like, they're probably not trained to do that many things other than just sit there and then run away. Because that was a majority of the takes they did, was just the puppies all sitting in like a little group, or the puppies running, and that was it. There really wasn't much anything else they did, and it makes sense because they're puppies. They, an adult dog is going to have more training to be able to do more things, but I don't know. It was just kind of boring just watching a puppy sit there in a row and then like just talk to each other.
That's really all that would happen. It was like, yeah, they just stood in a row. They talked it through. They all have like, each buddy basically has like a really horrible gimmick. One of them's the girl one, and then one of them is the one that likes to eat food, and then another one is like the jock one, and he just says dog, kind of like his owner, all like after everything. It was like it's honestly like this wasn't written in the 90s, guys.
Oh,
like that was insufferable.
Shout out to B-Dog. When I heard him start talking, I was like, do you remember the Malibu's Most Wanted with Jamie Kennedy?
Yes. Oh my God. I actually had that same thought. I'm glad you brought this up.
I was like, wow, this is some urban gangsta flavor for this little puppy.
It really was. I loved when the main kid's mom is like, "Oh, I thought you said you wanted to be a hip hopper," and she
got him a rabbit costume.
She accidentally got him like a rabbit costume.
Yeah.
And like, there were so many scenes in this that just had cereal commercial energy. Like, even the main villain, and just the performances and just everything about it just felt like, throw some more product placement in here, and it could absolutely be like a 30-second little cute little cereal commercial. That's what this series should have been, honestly. So I'm sorry to say to all the buttheads out there, but
it should have been like 30 minutes. I don't understand. Like, how long was this? An hour and a half? Like, it felt like it took forever.
It honestly, I will say, it felt about as long as 365 days. I will say that. And little nod to something we'll be talking about later. But yeah, it felt, they somehow felt around the same length, and 365 days is 30 minutes longer.
Oh, I have a very serious question for you about Spooky Buddies. Okay, so you know the scene with the Frankenstein couple and they're giving out candy? Did you notice at one point they're holding a box of dog treats, and they're like milk bones or something, and then they have a post-it note over part of the logo that makes it say Franken?
Oh my God, I didn't notice that.
Was that on purpose to avoid like brand association, or were they actively were the couple just so invested in their costume and their characters that they're like, we're gonna pretend these are Franken bones, and then they just slap a post-it note over it?
See, I think that's the beautiful thing about cinema, like Spooky Buddies. It's just you could take it either way, you know? Like it really could be, it could be either. It could be both. I actually didn't notice that, though. That's a good catch. The answer in all seriousness is probably both.
Probably. Oh, can we talk about the climax of the movie?
Oh yes, of course.
What is it Butterball? Is that the dog who
Yeah, the dog that likes to eat the food.
he saves the day by shooting a giant fart cloud out of his ass?
Uh, that does happen. That's what Jesus wanted.
Okay, I'm not really someone who really finds like poop humor funny. Like I just don't. Even when I was a kid, I never did. I just don't find it funny. I remember just watching this scene happen and I was just staring at the TV thinking like what is life?
What am I doing? Why? Like, is this the end of the podcast already?
Oh my god. Yeah, it was just so like that was their plan too. Like also what was Butterball? He was eating eyeballs out of a jar so he could get like a stronger fart.
That was pretty fucked up, actually. I forgot about that. He was just straight up eating probably human eyes. There's a scene, just that could be on the poster. Like, there's a scene in this. I would love to see like a concerned mom's review of this, where she's like, "There's a scene where one of the dogs eats human eyes. This is not good for kids."
Oh, I have a question. So I know like neither of us have kids, but if you had a kid, would you like show this movie to them?
Honestly, as an experiment, yes. I think it would be interesting to see how they'd react to it if I just played it straight. They would probably kids are dumb. I don't know. It depends on what age they are, I guess. But I feel like they would like it. I think, would they? Because the dogs are cute.
I guess it just depends on how old the kids are and how much like what their attention span is. I don't think I would actively choose to show this to a kid, especially if I have to watch a movie with a kid. I think I'd rather watch like if they want to watch like a spooky kids movie. Have you heard of The Little Vampire?
Yeah, that's a good movie. That's a good kids Halloween movie.
Like that's what I would show instead. Or like if they really want to watch something with dogs, like I know they're not puppies, but like Iron Will. I like Iron Will. Like that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, and honestly, the first Air Bud movie I think is fine, but you could also just show them the little commercial, like VHS commercial, and they'd probably get the same. You could put that on TikTok. They should get on that. You could put those little commercials on TikTok. They'd be short enough. It basically gives you the gist of the story, and you get to see a cute little dog playing basketball. I feel like they would get just as much out of it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would show this. Probably not, in all seriousness. Unless it was an experiment. Unless I just wanted to gather data about whether this is like a good kids movie. I don't know. I can't imagine that they would actually enjoy it. I don't know.
So I was looking up clips of Spooky Buddies on YouTube because I wanted to see what the comment section was. I feel so bad because all these people were like, I used to watch this movie as a kid and I loved it so much and this is my childhood. I watched this movie so much. All these comments were being sincere.
Oh no.
I couldn't find one of like people being like this is stupid or like I like this movie for being a bad movie. Like all these people were like my childhood. Like that was all of the comments about the Spooky Buddies.
I wonder what other horrible movies people say that about. Like I bet there's some weird fucked up shit that people were like, "Oh my god, that was my childhood. This is all I had on VHS as a kid was I don't know, Hannibal or something, just something really weird. Like this is all I had as a kid to watch. This is the only VHS tape my mom left me when she and my dad went off to work or something."
Oh my god. I'm trying to think of anything else to say about this movie. I feel like everything was just kind of inconsistent and it feels very tonally confusing, and I'm curious to know what the other Air Buddy movies are like, but also at the same time I don't want to sit there anymore.
So the problem with the other Air Buddies movies, especially the Treasure Buddies and like the Space Buddies and all of those, the problem with those is you don't have like a wacky human character really that's like hamming it up.
Oh, true.
I think I really do like it's just the dogs for most of it, and that just it's so boring, and it goes into, and I don't know, it's almost like this is made for like preschoolers or something, and that I shouldn't be watching it. From the I feel like I started a couple of the other ones and it just, I don't know, it just didn't have the same
It didn't have the same magic
charm,
to it.
I guess it didn't have the same magic to it. And again, even watching it again, I don't know. This is not necessarily a bad movie that I would recommend to most people. I'm sorry, but it is one that I have just a history with for no reason, and I think the title is funny. I think just looking at the title and the poster might be that might be my review, my rating at the end. Just maybe watch the trailer, watch a couple scenes with the warlock, and don't spend 90 minutes of your life watching this. Or, I mean, for me, 90 minutes times like 5 or 6, that's a lot. That's a lot of time. I'm not going to do the math.
Oh my god,
you can.
You know in The Princess Bride, where they have that machine they hook Wesley up to, they're like, we've just sucked away 1 year of your life. That's what this movie was.
They should use this at, I don't know, they should use this to torture people at Guantanamo.
I wouldn't go that far.
No?
I'm
maybe the next movie.
So my rating, or my final review for Spooky Buddies is, if you have let's say you're a parent and you have a kid, and the kid's like, Mom, Dad, I really want a puppy. Can we please get a dog? Please, please, please. And then you say, yeah, we already have a dog at home. And then you're in the car and the kid's freaking out, being like, thank you for getting me a puppy. Oh my God, I want to go meet my puppy. And then you go to your living room and you put Spooky Buddies on and you say, here's your dog.
It's way less effort that way.
It is.
Yeah, my last comment is that I loved the CGI of the little ghost dog, and that also made me laugh.
Oh yeah, it was given Casper vibes.
Casper vibes, and honestly the new Thor movie vibes when the dude's son shows up.
Heimdall's
his
son.
Face. I don't know why I just kept reminding me of that every time it showed up. And also, it was pretty fucked up that in a kids movie you have this like old man with a staff in robes just yelling at children that they're going to be his slaves. I thought that was weird too. But that's my last comment. I would recommend that no one watch this. That's my ultimate review. My final review of this. And we can move on unless you have anything else to say.
I'm good. I never need to watch this movie again. I don't, even if someone was like, we're going to give you drugs and like money and hookers, I don't think I could do it.
As much as I wouldn't recommend this to anybody, I would probably torture somebody with it again. I think that I think it would be funny to Clockwork Orange somebody and make them watch this.
I feel like this is such a specific movie for you to want to torture someone with. Like, if this, like you said, like this is kind of like you just say this is like your favorite bad movie.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it is like it's on the pedestal of my weird bad movies. I don't know. It's watching it again after this many years. It's not as funny, and I wouldn't recommend it for every crowd. Like if we're being completely serious, I'm not like shit posting anymore. It's not funny enough really, but it just I don't know why it just became such a running meme. But yeah, this is not one of the better bad movies or something you should put on to laugh at really. I think the first like 10 minutes or so, the opening scene is still pretty funny, but outside of that, I don't know. It's kind of rough.
It's almost like it was just like an inside joke between your friends that just kind of spiraled out.
Absolutely. That's really all it was. And I don't think I don't really think it deserves to become anything more than that, to be honest.
So anyone listening to the podcast right now, don't watch this movie unless you fell on your head as a baby and you I don't know.
I mean that's actually a really good recommendation. I think anyone with severe brain damage might like it.
Or like I want to like meet all those people in the comment sections that are just like, this is my childhood. Like I want to meet those people. Oh man.
Yeah, what are they? Where are they? What are they doing right now? Are they wandering around in the woods like foraging for berries or something? Are they?
Oh my god!
Like where are they? Just call us, find us. We'll interview you on the next episode.
Oh my god! Someone's gonna.
We won't.
watch it, just be our luck. Like someone comments being like, "I love Spooky Buddies," and like, "I can't believe you didn't like it," and I'm gonna unsubscribe.
Oh my god, I would love that. Someone please comment.
Oh yeah, please comment. Tell us how you're unsubscribing because we didn't like Spooky Buddies.
We're gonna have no subs by.
We have 28 as of right now. Thank you to everyone who watched the first episode.
Hey,
are you ready to move on to 365 days?
I think I am. I'm ready if you are. If you wanna start the little synopsis.
All right. So after his father, the head of the Sicilian mafia, is shot in front of him, Massimo becomes obsessed with Laura, a woman he randomly saw on the beach that same day. 5 years later, while he sees her on vacation, Massimo kidnaps Laura and gives her 365 days to fall in love with him before he will set her free. So I guess to start off, like, first of all, spoilers, and also this movie is rated R and like very like sexually explicit. So if that's something you're not into, then obviously don't watch this movie. I really got into this movie because I think in general I just find not necessarily like the romance, I guess like the romance genre, but like I find any sort of depictions of like sex and relationships interesting from like a psychological, sociological, anthropological, mindset of looking at things. I just like it. And then also this movie came out right when it was the start of the pandemic, like it was the summertime. And I remember I was just watching with all my friends and we were like in group chats just texting about it. And it was just such a meme online, and it was all consuming. I don't know if you really paid attention to it when it first came out, but a lot of people were really obsessed with this movie being like, oh my god, it's like the most sexual movie ever, and they actually had sex while filming the sex scenes, and people were going crazy about this.
Or actually, Michelle was telling me little facts that she was just reading online. Michelle, my girlfriend, yeah, she was read a little fact, which apparently this was the most viewed movie on Netflix in 2020.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Yeah, considering how,
but also not the most shocking thing to be completely honest.
Oh yeah, it's a very specific interest, which I think also shows just kind of how like the landscape of movies that are like romantically inclined have changed. Well, this wouldn't have come out in like, the 90s when people were doing remakes of Jane Austen novels.
For sure, but it definitely has, I feel like, the sensibilities of something. It comes off to me, I don't know if you know, oh my god, I'm totally forgetting the name of the guy. He's been going viral because he's just this like red pill debate guy who is just has like the most ridiculous view of relationships. Like I feel like,
oh, is he the guy who's like, I can fuck other women, but other women can't fuck me because men can fuck other women and not get attached, but women ain't loyal and they get attached to dick.
Andrew Tate is his name. Yeah, so yeah, this guy Andrew. It honestly, I just kept thinking throughout. I'm like, damn, this is a movie that red pill bro Andrew Tate would love. Like, like just all you need to do to get a woman to love you is just capture her, and eventually, I mean, women be shopping, and women love. They love just buy them things, right? Just buy them things and be really aggressive, and yeah, take them to obviously take them to a masquerade ball. Just buy them nice things, and they'll fall in love with you eventually.
It's absolutely crazy to me how. Oh, another thing that was going on when this movie came out is a lot of people were being like, "This movie's problematic and it shouldn't exist." It's like, yeah, it's very clearly meant to be problematic, and it's kind of weird because it's like, how do you? I know we talked about this in the last episode when it was like the sexual assault with Thor getting his clothes ripped off, and it's like, how exactly do you depict like dubious, consensual, non-consensual, like rapey kind of stuff in media sometimes? And I think a lot of people don't get that this is supposed to be like an erotic fantasy. Like this isn't supposed to be like a how-to guide on how to have a healthy relationship.
Right. No, I feel like no one should go into it expecting that. It was certainly an interesting watch, that's for sure.
For people who don't know, this movie is basically fan fiction of 50 Shades of Grey, because the this was originally a book. So the lady who wrote the 365 Days book, she read 50 Shades of Grey and she's like, not dark enough. Gotta make my own version and make it darker. And for anyone who doesn't know, I don't know how you wouldn't know this if you're online, but 50 Shades of Grey was fan fiction of Twilight, because the lady who wrote 50 Shades of Grey was like reading Twilight and being like, not enough sex. So she wrote her own version, and then they changed up the characters a little bit. But I think it's interesting, if you've seen all of these, you can see where it's like the human centipede of like shit. you can see where all the like similar story beats come from, and characters, and like how everything's, aligns with each other, and like, oh yeah, you can see how this inspired this and this inspired that.
Yeah, and I will say, just going back to the carbon copy of a carbon copy kind of thing, I loved just how excessive all of the needle drops and just music was in this. It was just it was like every time they cut to another scene, it was another song. It was a completely different song, because I had subtitles on, and it would say when it was a new song or whatever. And it was, I swear, there must be like, there's a lot. There isn't much time on screen when there isn't just a random, like really awkward song playing, which I really enjoyed that part of it. And that was honestly very, very funny.
The main character, the guy, the actor's name is Michael Maroney. He actually sings most of the songs in this film.
Oh my God. That actually makes it way better. To be completely honest, that makes it way funnier. Did he have any other involvement? Did he write, or he didn't direct or anything?
I don't know. He other people directed it, but I guess like this is also a foreign film. Like the production company is foreign. Like the author of the story is Polish, and like I think they filmed in Italy and Poland and other places in Europe. And I guess he's just like Michael Maroney was just like a singer in Italy, and he got cast in this, and he's like, we're gonna use your music, and he's like, okay. I don't know if there's more to the story than that, but it's all his music. Like anytime you pretty much hear a man singing a song, it's him.
Damn. Yeah, and I mean they straight up, if he has however many albums he has, I feel like it probably all gets played in this movie. There's so much of it. Yeah, it kind of makes sense that he isn't an actor, because I feel like he
wasn't very good at acting.
He's so, I'm trying to think of a way to describe his performance. Like, to play a role like this, if you were trying to do this well, in which I don't know if you can, I have no idea, you would want somebody with more charisma. Like, they're basically just getting him completely for looks, and that just the whole movie is very much like a Z grade, like it really is like a Z grade porn parody of 50 Shades of Grey or something. That's what a lot of it came off as. And there was, just for a Netflix movie, there's so much graphic sex, which really surprised me.
I was a little concerned when I suggested this to watch, because I'm like, oh, is Ryan gonna think that like I'm being creepy by like insisting we have to review this? But I don't know. What did you think of it?
I thought that it was funny at points, and it made me laugh. But I will say, about an hour through, I was like, I don't know if I can go on anymore. This is really hard to keep watching. There were, I don't know. I think the performances were just really over the top and funny enough, especially from what's her name? What's the main female?
Laura.
Yeah, especially from her. I think I don't know. There were points where she was giving like a little bit of Tommy Wiseau, and I appreciated that. Just with the general like over the top, like ridiculous performance she was giving, and like fainting at points, and just some of her line deliveries were hilarious. I really liked when she said that she's not a bag of potatoes. I thought I can't deliver it in the wonderful way that she did, but I did find a lot of it to be very, very entertaining, just as a bad movie.
Everyone thought these sex scenes were really hot. I didn't think they were that sexy.
They were very awkward. Like, I would compare it to, have you ever seen Showgirls?
Yeah.
That's what I would compare a lot of them to. And
like the pool scene.
yeah, oh my god, man, that's still maybe I don't know if any sex scene beats that in terms of just how hilarious it is. But yeah, like I think I would compare it to that. Like all the sex scenes were so awkward. And did you say it was actual sex scenes? I wasn't.
No. Like they weren't having sex.
I didn't think so.
It was fake. Yeah, but everyone thought they were because it's like, oh my god, like he did this, and like I don't think people realize like if they're shooting like a blowjob, like they'll wear like a strap-on dildo. You know what I mean?
There are some movies that do that. I'm trying to think of. There's a recent Lars von Trier movie where they cast like porn actors basically to kind of like be stand-ins for like close-ups, and they did that, but it's on Netflix and it's not NC-17, so probably it's probably not real, and yeah, it isn't. They were just very awkward and kind of funny, and just the music was
The boat scene.
oh my god, the boat scene.
That song is so loud too. It's like I see red, red, red. they're fucking all over the boat. You know what I don't understand? That dude is still on the boat, so they just like having marathon sex over the entire boat, and the guy has to like stay off in a different cabin.
Yeah, that guy is just like just cowering in a corner somewhere, just waiting for it all to be over. Yeah, I don't know. There were definitely points where the music. Have you seen The Room?
Yes.
There were definitely there are points where the music was just so cheesy and over the top that it reminded me of that, and it absolutely makes it so much better that knowing that it's the lead actor's music. That's very very funny.
Yeah, it makes it even better. You know the scene where she goes into like his room and he's got that portrait of him and a lion on the other side of the...
That was oh my god, that was so funny.
So you know what I thought would make that scene better? Like so like he ties her up and he puts like a spreader bar on her legs, so she's just like on the bed, and then he has this girl come in and then just start blowing him. I thought it would have been like made more sense or like been better if like he was eating out the girl. You know what I mean? And like getting that girl off, like the other girl, because it just feels like if I'm Laura, am I supposed to be impressed that like some bitch is just coming in and sucking your dick?
No, you're totally right. Like from a power dynamics sort of standpoint, I think that would make more sense. But just the Andrew Tate brain of it all, it's like, I mean, I'm assuming it's a dude who wrote this. I actually don't know. Was it a dude?
No, it's a woman.
That's actually shocking. But yeah, I don't. My point stands. It really just feels like an Andrew Tate red pill brain thing. Like, what could be hotter than seeing me get head from another woman in front of you? You know what I mean? Like, it definitely gives that for me.
In the beginning, also when he's getting blown on that little airplane, the private jet, and he puts the privacy curtain down, and it's like a shower curtain.
that was great. That whole scene, like just cutting back and forth, was definitely a definitely a tone setting montage, and I was like, okay, this is what this is gonna be. All right, I got it.
Oh, I'm sure you probably could have guessed this, but all the scenes where he's coming up to her and he's like, "Are you lost, baby girl?" That became a meme. Yeah, that became a meme online
every time.
Which is why
he said that. It was just, I laughed a little bit and also just felt that just this pang of cringe and in my stomach, just this knot.
When I watched this movie with a friend, because I've seen this movie probably about 5 times now. I don't think I can watch it again. I rewatched it for the podcast, and I was like, towards the end, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. But I watched it with a friend one time, and like halfway through the film, she's like, "Is Massimo a vampire?"
Adding like a little supernatural flair to this could have been fun. Like I'm imagining him with little vampire teeth. I think that'd be fun.
I feel like it would have made more sense because it kind of just comes across as a psychopath.
Yeah.
So like knowing that he's a vampire, it's like, okay, well, like his system is morally gray, and that would have made more sense. But the vampire thing is like, it's definitely like a derivative of like Twilight. It's like this character is meant to be like a dominatrix, like a dominant vampire, like sex demon thing. Like that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and I appreciated that scene where right after he captures her, they make a point to say, well, he's actually a good guy because he doesn't want to hurt kids. And I just always think that's funny when they have to do that in a movie. It's like, what? Okay, all right. So that actually negates all of the other bad things that he's doing. Just to say, he's a bad dude, but he doesn't hurt kids. It's like this is fucking Gladiator or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay.
He may be a Italian gangster that kidnapped you, but he has standards.
I have in my notes that the lion painting was very, very funny, and that made me laugh. I like to think that someone... I want to know where that prop is right now. Is that in the sequel?
No.
Okay, yeah. I really want to know, like, does someone have that prop just laying around? It probably was painted over, realistically, just for something else. But I like to think that someone, like, on the crew or something is just has that, like, in their apartment or something as people come in. Just this, yeah. For people listening, it's just this massive painting of the guy and just
a lion
next to a lion. That's it. And it's very, very dramatic. It's in his sex dungeon.
That's not even his sex dungeon, it's just his bedroom. Oh, there's one thing that I liked with this movie. Can you guess what it is? Don't think too hard.
What is it?
You're not good at guessing. I think the movie looks nice. Like, a lot of the locations and, like, the sets are nice.
Yeah, I did, like, at the very beginning, I was getting really tired of it was just like constant drone shots. And then in the boardroom scene, it's just like the camera was just constantly moving like it was a Michael Bay movie. And that was kind of getting nauseating. I was like, okay, if this whole movie is shot like this, I'm going to get sick. But after that, no, I agree. Like, there actually are a lot of really, really nice locations. And yeah, that definitely made it a little bit easier for sure.
That's the only good part of this movie. I remember when I watched the sequel has a lot of really good sets too. And I remember saying, like, it's a shame so many beautiful locations had to be wasted on a film like this.
There was this with certain colors, and I don't know if it was just my TV, and it could have been, but there were certain colors that were, like, really, like, grainy. I don't know if you noticed that. I don't know what it was. But I'm tempted to watch it, like, on or just put it on. Like, it was specifically the reds were, like, really strange and grainy looking. And I might actually I might look at it later again on like my laptop or something to see if it produces the same effect. But I was like, this is a Netflix movie and it looks like there's some weird compression issue. I thought that was kind of strange. That's probably the least interesting criticism that I could levy against it, honestly. But
I know this is gonna seem very petty in comparison to, like, everything about this film, but you know the scene where, like, after she got her blonde bob and she's in, like, that apartment, they're having sex up against the glass.
Yeah,
the glass is so dirty.
I didn't notice that. Was it really icky?
Yeah, it was like no one bothered to Windex the glass in between takes. Like, it was very just dirty, like, you know, when little kids touch glasses.
And that always that will always show up on camera, like any fingerprints or anything. Like, yeah, I didn't actually notice it for whatever reason, but that's yuck.
I don't think they actually. I don't believe that they love each other.
I don't think so either. It's just the whole thing is just so shallow, and I know, like you said, that's kind of the point. It's just supposed to be this weird fantasy, but
it's essentially supposed to be like a woman's, like, erotic fantasy. Like, I say, like, women because it's, like, meant to be, like, heterosexual cis het thing. Like, it just kind of comes across as, like, a fantasy of, like, oh, there's, like, this man and he's dangerous and, like, he's gonna kidnap me and he's, like, hot and we're gonna fuck everywhere and then I'm gonna go shopping later. We're gonna go shopping a bunch of times. I'm gonna get to go to a spa and then we're gonna get married and then, you know, it's all very, like, very surface level, just very much like a fantasy. It's essentially like the woman's equivalent of, like, my stepsister is stuck in the dryer.
That would be a great review. Like, I'm imagining that if this review for some reason, if this podcast, like, if it, you know, if we get to put our stuff on Rotten Tomatoes, right? That would be your poll quote for this movie.
I'm not going to make you watch, or I'm not going to make us review any of the sequels, because honestly, as bad as this one is, the second movie is even worse, and I don't know how it's possible. It's basically, for how much sex was in this movie, the next movie is just sex. I'm not even.
Oh my god. I kind of thought that this movie was just sex. That's
No,
crazy.
this movie has like a fucking like Shakespearean plot compared to the next movie. The next movie is literally just them going around to different places and having sex. Like there's a scene where they're on a golf course and they're golfing, and she gets down on like her back and she has her legs spread by the golf hole, and then he like shoots the ball, like 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 it.
That's real? That's real?
Yeah, that happens in the next one. And then also, I guess because they didn't want to just show like Laura and Massimo having sex the entire time, they show her friend and then someone else having sex like 4 times as well in the sequel, and then also some other couples. I legitimately, I don't understand what they were trying to do. Oh, and there's also an evil twin, and the same act.
That's amazing.
It's Massimo's twin brother.
He's more evil?
More evil. More.
I love that. Or it would be funny if he was just a good twin. He was just a good guy.
No.
He's like, oh, I'm not really into any of that weird stuff. I'm just, I'm the good one.
Do you know in like the 4th Harry Potter movie where there's Barty Crouch's character played by David Tennant, and he's like always licking his lips and flicking his tongue out?
Yeah.
That's what they do to differentiate between Massimo and his evil twin brother.
I'm sure this actor can totally pull it off. I'm sure it's transformative enough to where you're like, oh my god, it's like a totally different person, right?
It kind of is a different person, but only because like it's not good though. Like there's Massimo, who's kind of just like a cold psychopath, and then his evil twin brother is like the Joker.
Oh man, you're kind of selling me on this, honestly.
I know it sounds funny, but I'm not even joking when I say like most of the movie is just more of these sex scenes with more pop music over it.
Like,
God,
I'm just imagining if this came out like in the VHS era, and it was just at Blockbuster, just how fucked up the tape would be from people pausing so much. It would just be so degraded, it would be like brittle, and they would have to throw every time they would have to throw every single copy away after somebody used it once. That's how awful it would be.
Oh god. Okay, so I have like a mixed bag opinion when it comes to like sex scenes in movies. Like I get why they happen, but this whole movie is like, it's like it's almost like they're just trying to make porn at this point, and it's kind of like maybe pull back on the sex scenes a little bit, like make them a little bit more, less is more, a little bit more like chaste. I don't know, because they're like so awkward as like a movie, but they're not like sexual enough to be porn.
Yeah, it falls into that awkward middle ground of like there was. So I went on Letterboxd and was just looking at some reviews, and I would recommend anyone do that because it's very funny, especially for this movie. And yeah, there were a lot of reviews that were just like, just watch porn, just watch porn. Why are you watching this? I just found that funny. Another one that I found funny, and this is just a tangent at this point, but some woman said, my mom told me that my dad reminded me of the main character in this, and I am going to die now. I just thought that was funny too. But
that's hilarious.
It exists in this weird middle ground. Not even middle ground. I think it definitely is veering over to just the straight up, like, this would be in the HBO like softcore porn category if this had come out like even like 5 or 6 years ago, probably. But yeah, no, it's definitely. So I have not seen the 50 Shades of Grey movies, but I've heard that they're very tame in what they actually show. Is that true? Have you seen them?
Yeah, I only saw the first one because I saw it on. Funny story. I went and saw the first 50 Shades of Grey movie on Valentine's Day, and I brought my partner along, and he hated it, and he's like, "You need to make it up to me." So then we bought tickets, and we went and saw Kingsman right afterwards.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, and honestly, it was so amazing because we just sat through the shit fest that was 50 Shades, that when we went and saw Kingsman, it just made Kingsman so much better.
Yeah, that's a fun movie.
Yeah, so that's actually my review, is just watch Kingsman. I think the first Kingsman is the best. But yeah, back to 50 Shades of Grey. They're kind of boring as far as like the sex scenes go. It's just kind of like, oh, he's a little bit rough with her. Okay.
Yeah, and this is kind of just like amping that up to 11s. I wonder what if 50 Shades of Grey is like a carbon copy of Twilight, and this is a carbon copy of 50 Shades of Grey. I wonder what the copy of this is going to be like. Like how graphic?
God.
How graphic is that going to be? And I don't know. I feel like it's not going to show up on Netflix. That's for sure. Or maybe it will.
I can only imagine. We only have to wait like 5-ish years. There'll be like a spin-off of this.
God, I can't even imagine how fucked up it's going to be.
We went from vampire to billionaire CEO to Italian mafia don. Like, what's next?
There will literally be no dialogue. It's sponsored by the same company that made this and also Brazzers, and now Netflix has partnered with Brazzers because they're not doing so hot in 5 years.
Oh, poor Netflix.
Stranger Things season 5 or whatever didn't do as well as they wanted it to, and this is the timeline that we're in now.
Where Netflix is now porn.
Netflix is now porn. You
know what makes me sad? Like, yeah, like bad movies exist and like whatever, it just happens. And sometimes you don't know if a bad movie is going to be a bad movie. But think about how much money went into making. But like, here's how we wrap it up. Here's how we wrap up the bow of both of these films. Think about how much money went into making these that could have gone into making something else that would have been good.
It is sad. Like there are so many filmmakers and people out there with like fun, original ideas. Like people always say Hollywood doesn't make anything original anymore, and that's not for lack of trying or like lack of ideas. There are so many creative people out there who have great ideas, and it really comes down to like what a studio is willing to make and what they're willing to gamble on. And I guess this is what they're willing to gamble on, and it worked, you know.
Yeah,
it's the highest. I mean, it's crazy. This is like the highest viewed movie on Netflix. It's crazy, but I don't know if it's that crazy. I mean, clearly people are getting some kind of enjoyment out of it for obvious reasons, and I don't know. Yeah, it is kind of sad in a way.
I know you talked a little bit about what Michelle thought, but did she have any other thoughts that were interesting?
Yeah, it was mostly the Letterboxd stuff that she was piping in with that I really enjoyed. She was just reading random reviews off of Letterboxd and to just pile onto a bad movie by seeing people just roast it just on Letterboxd. It's always very funny. I love that platform. It's become so fun.
I don't have a Letterboxd. I should sign up for one.
You should definitely get one. It's kind of addictive, honestly. It feels like it kind of gives you that feeling of collecting in a way, and it's nice to be able to look at I'll definitely add you if you get one. It's nice to be able to look and see like what your friends have been watching and what they've rated things, so you can argue with them or just get good recommendations that way. Like I think it's really fun. This is now sponsored by Letterboxd, that'd be cool. That'd be cool, honestly. I highly doubt that they make that much money though.
No, not especially not enough to sponsor baby podcasts.
Once that maybe we can get a sponsorship from Disney. What if we do, oh my God, if enough people want us to, what if we did another Buddies movie and the 365 Days sequel as a sequel to this? I put it out there and I'm sorry.
No, no, veto. I'm vetoing this idea. I don't even know why you would suggest this unless you hate me.
I'm sorry. I thought it would be funny to say, but now I'm realizing that just to be contrarian, people are going to say that's actually what we want.
No, please. Oh God, I can't. I we need to watch good movies going forward.
I agree. No, I think there's one last comment that I wanted to make, and it's that I don't know if you noticed this, but I timestamped it at 19 minutes 15 seconds into 365 days. She's walking through the streets and hears a dog barking angrily at her. Could this be the Halloween Hound from Spooky Buddies?
Oh.
Is this connected to the ABU? Lots of questions, lots of very interesting questions for people to think about that we're gonna leave them with at the end of this one.
I want to watch the film theory that connects these two videos together, these two movies together.
Welcome to Film Theory.
Oh God.
I'll edit this video like the end of this video like a film theory episode, and it'll just be an unnecessarily long video talking about how 365 days is like the death dream of the warlock once they throw him into the hell portal or whatever. Like this is actually all his dying dream. I feel like every theory on that fucking channel is this actually what this person sees before they die, or are they actually in hell? It's like all the same. That poor guy. Someone needs to free the film theory guy. I think he's been imprisoned and they're forcing him to do these. And
Matt Pat.
They're all the same. They're all the same. And someone please free him. He shouldn't have to make one of these videos every single week. There's not enough there's not enough ideas for that. There's no way.
It's like the film theory YouTube channel has reached like CinemaSins level of like your useless content for me. You know what I mean?
It is, and it's disappointing. I think that maybe I might be in the minority. I do think there was a point where it was very sporadic, but they would occasionally come out with one that I liked. And the editing is very high effort, which I can appreciate on some level. But yeah, he seems like a sweet guy, but you got to cut down on the videos, the amount of videos you're making. You can't just make one just to make one every week, just for the money. And I know that that's what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, completely.
Like there's a reason why certain pretentious video essayists only come out with a video like every few months. And that's because they are actually, well, in most cases, in the good cases, are refining their ideas and coming up with good concepts that actually make sense, that they've thought through, and they aren't just like looking through Reddit comments and just that's what the videos feel like. It's like he saw one Reddit comment with like 2 upvotes of like the worst possible theory about something that no one has ever thought about, and it's like, I guess we could stretch this to 10 minutes. It's like, dude, oh god.
And this has been Ryan Hates Film Theory.
No, we're not gonna start a beef this early on. I guess we're at this point we're punching up though, so I think people will find that spunky.
I don't think we said our final thoughts for 365 days. Who is this? Who do you? If you had to give like this movie, like you have to recommend this movie to one person, who are you recommending it to?
White suburban wine moms. I feel like they're like a random mom who's like, I saw that last year, and it's actually my favorite movie. Like, I don't know why I did that voice, but that's just, I feel like there's some.
Because you're misogynist.
I'm gonna cut that out. No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna. There's some random mom that's gonna reference this at some point in my life and be like, I love that movie, and I'm gonna just quiver in fear. But God bless them. If this is what you like, you go, girl boss. You go, you enjoy it. Women be shopping, etc. Andrew Tate movie. I don't know what I'm saying.
I think I honestly I have no idea who I'd recommend this to, other than like, if you're someone who is not bothered by dubious kind of rapey sexual encounters with people in films, and you just want to laugh at something that's sexually wrong in all of like the funniest ways possible, then yeah, you'd probably enjoy this. But like, there's better romance movies, there's better erotica, there's better porn. Like, just watch something else.
Yeah, and I would say, here's an actual recommendation. I would say, if you think Showgirls is funny, you might think this is funny.
Oh, true.
Yeah, Showgirls also gets a little rapey toward the end, and it makes it kind of, because I'll do bad movie nights and stuff with my friends still on occasion. Not as much recently, but yeah, I think Showgirls was always like a tough one because it's so like there's just like this really horrific rape scene toward the end, mm-hmm. and it's like ugh, and it kind of throws the vibe off if you're watching it with a group. But if you're watching it with people who kind of just accept it for what it is, or aren't really as bothered, I don't know. I think this could be maybe a good double feature with that. But I mean, there is a sequel, so I guess you'd probably just have to. Now I'm imagining when the third one comes out, which I saw was gonna happen. Like, people sit, like, what would be the type of people who would sit down and like marathon the trilogy, like the Lord of the Rings movies or something? Like, are there like just these weird wine mom people that are sitting around like having a Tupperware party, like watching?
There's stains on the couch when they get up.
Oh God, no! It's just, God. Someone is gonna do that. Someone is gonna sit down, probably more than one person or more than one group. They're gonna marathon these movies. It's absolutely gonna happen.
That's so depressing to think about.
This is their Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Oh my God.
I the third one isn't out yet, but I'm assuming it's gonna be as fitting of an ending to this series as Return to the King. I don't know if it'll win Best Picture, but who knows?
They sweep the Oscars. Oh God. I'll watch the third one when it comes out, and I'll let you know how bad it is. I'm kind of curious just because like I don't know, train wreck. I can't look away, but it's not even a guilty pleasure at this point. It's just kind of like those people who like picking their own scabs like this.
Yeah.
Watching these movies feels like that.
It's kind of like it's like the Marvel movies, like you were
Yes.
talking about. It's like obligation.
Yeah.
It's like you just feel like, well, I just gotta finish. I just gotta finish the series. I
I'm
gotta
a
find out what's gonna
completionist.
happen. Yeah, if you're a 360, that's who we'd recommend the third movie for, even though it's not out yet. So I think for the next one, we're going to talk about the new Jordan Peele movie, right?
Oh yeah, Nope. We're gonna see that.
So yeah, that's what you can expect the following week.
Thanks for watching, everyone, or listening. There's no visual component. Well, I mean there is, but like not enough where it matters. You know what I'm trying to say.
I'm gonna I'll animate the entire. I'll animate JPEGs of us like film theory. That's what I'll
Oh
do.
God, no. That would be I could imagine you'd be like, I took a week to edit this episode.
It's like, Ryan, please don't do that. It's like, no, it's really worth it. So many people are gonna appreciate this.